Hello everyone, this is Addis Dialogue. I'm Santayo Tamrat with this edition. And today's edition of Addis Dialogue will focus on three main points: the progress of the establishment of the Nile Basin Commission, and the coming into force of the CFA, the Cooperative Framework Agreement, as well as the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam development. I'm joined here by Dr. Habtamu Itefa, Minister of Water and Energy. Thank you so much for joining us, and do stay tuned. Very warm welcome to you, Dr. Habtamu.
Thank you, Santayo.
Well, Dr. Habtamu, my first point is the establishment of the Nile Basin Commission, which is envisaged in the third part of the CFA treaty. And what fundamental changes have so far been made to realize this vision?
When we talk about the Nile River Basin Commission, I think it's good to talk about the Nile Basin Initiative. As we know, all member states in Nile River Basin, just before more than 10 years, they had engagement how we can work together for the common benefit of all nations in riparian countries. That is the White Nile and the Blue Nile. When the initiative was established, it was meant to work for an institution that is going to be legally binding institution and will help all member states to get benefited from Nile River. So, due to certain reasons, which we can boldly say our brothers from downstream, they were trying to lag establishment of the commission. They have been contributing significantly negative impacts in the Nile Basin Initiative activities. In NBI, every year, ministers of water and energy of all member states, we have conferences, we have meetings, and every year there is a different argument where our brothers from Sudan and Egypt, they are not happy with what we are doing. So far, we are lucky enough, the commitment of all the upstream riparian countries, especially Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi recently, and others, have shown a commitment that we have to cooperate. We have to work together for the common benefit of our people, our nation, all on Nile River. So now we are on the verge of establishing the Nile River Basin Commission based upon actions we have taken in our NBI on the Nile Basin Initiative. As we know, initiative is initiative. It's not an institution, but it's a platform where we can share ideas and where we can talk about it. So after all, we need a commission or a legally binding institution that is going to govern all of us on upstream and the downstream. To do that, there are certain steps that we should go through. One thing is the practice that we have in the Nile Basin Initiative. In that practice, we used to have different investment programs, projects that have been supported by the different development partners, mainly from Germany, from World Bank, and from African Development Bank, and from different countries in Europe as well, which is a good show that we can invest and then we can utilize on our water resource that has been done through the initiative. The second one is the Cooperative Framework Agreement, which is a basis for consensus for everyone, that every nation, every member state should endorse, should accept that. Of course, we don't have to wait for the 100% of all the member states to endorse that one, but among the available ones, with the 6 of them have already signed, they ratified, and then we can move on. Now we are lucky enough to go for establishment of the Nile River Basin Commission, and we are waiting for that actions to be done. So that is automatically will be done in 60 days after it is submitted to the AU, and then once that is done, then the commission is going to be legally active. So we are expecting the head of state summit to be called by Ugandan President, Excellency Museveni, and the way it is to be done there is just to endorse it for all member states to show their commitment and then to move on for the Nile River Basin Commissions. Once now we are in the Nile River Basin Commission, then we are going to have an institution that is going to lead, that is going to assist all member states to utilize their water resource, name it for hydropower, name it for irrigation, name it for water supply, fire protection, in such a way that everyone is benefited from the system what we are going to do.
Following South Sudan's approval of the CFA, it has now entered into force, or it is just expected to come into force. And can we say that this can be an international law which can end the unsuccessful long-term debate, political and diplomatic debate over the Nile River?
Yes, once we establish the River Basin Commission, we can dare to say that way. Now, not yet, because we are on the initiative level, and the CFA, when it is going to be active in a certain measured days after submission to the AU and Africa Union, and that every ministers, at least 6 of us who have signed that, has agreed that we need the commission. Then once the commission is established legally, then the commission will be given a mandate by law, what to do, what to enforce, and how it can be done. Once that is there, yes, that will be the international law. The agreement of all member states in the upstream part of Nile, especially all who has recently signed, thanks to Burundi and South Sudan, Ethiopian calendar they have done in this 2016 or 2024, 2023 and 2024, which means a lot for us. That is what we have been striving for a long time. The standard that we had been showing is, let's cooperate, let's work together. Nile is a gift for every one of us. It's not for one nation, while the other one is staying poor and the people are in darkness. What we were demanding is in a cooperative approach, what to do and how should it move. So all this has been accepted by a majority of the member states, and that is almost going to be international law. That is what we are expecting to be done.
And what major benefits can it bring across the countries in the region?
CFA is a cooperative framework agreement. It is an agreement to be done between all member states in Nile River Basin that we shall cooperate, that we should cooperate. When we are talking about CFA, it's not only for cooperation. There is also responsibility that we have to do it. If we see, one of the articles is clearly saying all member states should focus on maintaining the quality and the management of the river basins in their respective territory. That means the way we handle our rivers, the way we work on our IWRM, Integrated Water Resource Management, is also forcing us that we have to watch out what we implement on our waters and how we can work on the water. From this point of view, our green legacy is number one, that Ethiopia has already gone before 6 years, that we are working on the catchment treatment, on the watershed treatment, which means we are minimizing sediment flow to the rivers. We are maximizing the discharge or the base flow technically that we are getting during the dry period, and we are also minimizing the flood problems. This means already one of the responsibility put in the CFA agreement is already under exclusion by Ethiopian government. We are investing a lot. From this point of view, in the past 6 years, not including this year, we could plant more than 32 billion, where about 8.23 billion seedlings is in Blue Nile. If we can count the number of seedlings, the land it is holding, the number of people who are getting involved during the plantation, during taking care of the seedling, and even after that, it's an investment, which is a huge amount of money. We are doing our share. It should be clearly understood by our brothers on the downstream side. Second point, on CFA, there is also an issue of data sharing, information sharing. We are already in the action with our Sudanese brother. We do have a technical advisory committee, which we say Ethio-Sudan, which we say STAG, where every day we are providing data for our Sudanese brothers from Blue Nile. And they also are providing from the Resore Dam, how we are operating, what we are doing. Already we are in action as per the CFA. So already signing, but already in action, and we are already taking our role actions that CFA is for everyone, for all of us as well.
Well, Dr. Habtamu, Ethiopia's Green Legacy Initiative is taken as the landmark project which primarily aims at mitigating climate change and variability that could affect the Abai or Nile waterways. And In this regard, how do you explain the impact of Green Legacy initiative to the Abai water as well as GERD?
In the previous years before GERD, they had been receiving billions of tons of sediment to Rizore Dam, then to Aswan Dam and the soils. So most of their investment was to de-dredge, that means to desilt, to remove out from the dam and from the canals. After having the dam, the way we manage is going to minimize that what they used to suffer with that one. Specifically when we are coming to the parcel of land, that is the catchment. The Green Legacy is the one to show the big impact. Technically, when we are working on talking about hydrology, we do have high rainfall in Blue Nile. It's common, it's true, we know that. The more we are covering our land, the more recharge we are getting into our groundwater. The more recharge means the less the runoff will be. The less the runoff meaning the less the erosion that we expect on a catchment, and the less the flood that we expect in the rivers and the tributaries. So minimizing the runoff, minimizing the sediment could be achieved through our Green Legacy that we have been planting. As I said earlier, more than 8 billion seedlings have been there in Blue Nile. Just this is what I'm saying before May of 2024. Then after we have more data, which is getting engaged. All this seedling investment that we provide in the catchment, it is increasing the flow. It is decreasing the sediment. It's decreasing the erosion from our land. When we are minimizing the erosion on the upstream and the sediment in the river, the life of the dams is going to be more than what it used to be when it was with sediment. That is what we expect. The more water they can get in their dam, name it in Sudan or in Egypt, the more productivity they are going to attain, because in most of the cases they are using for irrigation. The more water, the more land they have already, the more productivity they can have, the more economic benefits they can get in from their dams due to our investment on our Green Legacy in upstream side here in Ethiopia.
Ethiopia has recently heralded its citizens as well as fellow Africans that the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is going to be completed early next year. And what impression has this news brought to you as a minister who is strenuously working to avail electricity to millions of Ethiopians living in darkness?
Yeah, in Ethiopia, if you see the whole region, I mean East Africa, including Egypt, Sudan, and East African part, we are the one with the maximum energy deficit. Our citizens who are connected from the main grid, they are not more than 52%. That means almost 0.5% are in darkness. Whereas if you go to other sides, other parts of our neighboring brothers and sister countries, it's the rivers. They do have almost better infrastructure energy. When we are getting more output from GERD, what I'm saying as a deficit is going to be decreasing, because the more production capacity we are having, the more energy supply we are going to have in our hand, then we are remaining with infrastructures to get connected to the individual house that we can move on. So, as a minister and as a nation, as a citizen, it makes me proud that we have something. What we have is, we have the potential to generate, we have the energy generation capacity already now in our hand, remaining only with grid interconnection to bring the life of our people in a better way. So the first round, 2 turbines, they have significant improvement, what they have done to the power electrification of this nation. And recently our Prime Minister, they have also commissioned 2 of the turbines, which means a lot for Ethiopians. Yeah. Totally from the 4 turbines, we expect about 1,400 megawatt of generation capacity. That is what we are injecting into a system. So GERD is already giving us the fruits, which we call the Misrach, or Misrach fruits in Ethiopian or in Amharic. So it makes us proud, it makes us happy, because we are getting back the payback from our investments. In our dam, It's every nation, every citizen who has stake in its implementation. Some of them, they paid from what they don't have. Some of them, they paid for even their lives, especially our security personnel who have been suffering there and who has been protecting any threat to our dams. And that one or the other way, every citizen has already a stake in the dam. Now it's the time for us to harvest what we have been sowing for GERD project. I would like to mention on this occasion as well, from GERD, whatever we produce is going still for our brotherly country, Sudan. They are connected to Ethiopian grid lines. From the grid, when they are connected, sorry to say, they are not paying for what they are utilizing, because we know they are in conflict, they are in war, and Ethiopia is not charging them for what they are doing. We are giving them time because we feel we are brotherly. If you go on the border, the same people, the same language, the same culture, the same religion, even half family are here in the. That is how we value our relationship. So one day, when they are become stable and at peace, I think they will pay for that, what they are utilizing now. So the output from our dam is still going for our brotherly neighboring countries, the same for Djibouti, the same for Kenya, and so on, is how we are going to link using our power output from our biggest dam, GERD.
The GERD has recently had its third and fourth units generate power. And what does this stage of the construction of GERD signify?
When we see that technically from the civil work point of view, the dam, which is 99.6% more than that, is completed, which means, after all, we are sure our dam, the structure, can hold the 74 billion meter cube. That is the capacity. We are at that level now. And almost we are getting that. That's one of the achievements. Then recently the turbines, when they came to commission, once we do have sufficient water behind the dam, with sufficient height of the reservoir, then we can expect the maximum discharge that we can release through the penstock to generate the power. That is what we are guaranteed. The infrastructure is well done, the head is already available, the water is available, that we can maintain. Then in the coming months, more turbines are going to be active there now, where we are going to, every time, adding more and more until we complete to the full capacity of generation potential of GERD.
I would like to congratulate Dr. Habtamu on the achievement so far regarding GERD. And we know that the GERD, since its inception, has come across multiple political and diplomatic pressures from downstream countries as well as regional actors like the Arab League. And Ethiopia has managed to realize the project. So what lessons can African states draw from this so that they can use their natural resources for development of their states?
Our African brothers, they should learn from the footpaths what we have gone through. So not only should learn, but they are already on the track to follow what we have done. If you see 2024, 2024, or 2017, 60 Ethiopian calendar, two countries, Burundi and South Sudan, they ratified the CFA. Means it's not simply going and picking the ratification. They have been watching what we are doing. Before 3 or 4 years, yes, we paid a big price because of defamation done by the Western media on Ethiopia, accusation taken by downstream countries, where they have wrongly propagated the purpose of our dam and where they try to blackmail that. So by that time, it's normal for someone to get confused. Is that the way? Why so? How comes? But today, they are sure we develop our dam without harming our downstream brothers, and we could accomplish our goal. Then they say, okay, let's ratify the CFA, because someone should be confident about what we are doing when they go for action. Because one or the other way, CFA is mainly directed to big projects to be done on Nile rivers, Blue Nile, in our case, White Nile, in other side. So they have learned the lesson and they are in actions. The other point, every time when we are having meetings with the Council of Ministers, they are already on board to devise, to formulate projects, mainly hydropower, even in some part, multi-purpose projects, hydropower and irrigation. They say, we have to move, we have to work. They started to lobby development partners from abroad. But one thing they have to learn, they may not get a positive response from DPs, because Ethiopia has been suffering long years in this procedure. If you take 1950s, Emperor Haile Selassie has conducted a study on the Blue Nile and identified dam sites. That was done by American consultants, USBR. USBR is United Bureau of Reclamation, the internationally known consultant. The Westerners are aware, they know everything. Once the document is done, and they say, and the emperor requested for construction, they say, no, we don't do that. So then after also during the Dark regime, there was an attempt to do some activity in Tana Palace around the power area, which was failed, couldn't be successful, and it could fail. So when our other brotherly countries, they go for such kind of request, they may not get positive response. If they are lucky enough, they may get something good. Whatever response they can get, they have to be devoted enough. They have to be committed in the way that we have done on GERD. The commitment from GERD and what they can learn from Ethiopia is the commitment from the government is very important. Political leadership is very vital. It's not only the people who should say, oh, we have to go for big dams, we have to go for construction of projects on Nile River and so on. There should be political will. The head of states, the prime ministers, the presidents, the ministers should show a commitment how they can make. When they do that, they have to also see how Ethiopia is benefiting everyone. As I mentioned earlier, from GERD, this day, the Sudanese brothers they used to suffer due to flooding. Now they are free. What we did is benefiting them. So the same thing, I think, should be followed from other upstream countries as well. When they go for development on the White Nile, they have to see the balance, how one can benefit without harming the other one.
And finally, Dr. Habtamu, can we have your say on the financial revenues that Ethiopia generates from the export of power to neighboring countries so far?
When we are talking of the power export from Ethiopia to our neighboring countries, I think we have to see from different aspects. One aspect, we have same people on both sides, because our nation in Sudan having the same culture, the same language, the same family. So whatever we are producing here, whatever advantage we are providing for our neighboring countries means we are sharing with our brothers from Sudan side. The same to Kenya. If we go to North Kenya and the South Ethiopia, we have Boranas. Both sides we have Boran. Huge amount of population. Somalia in the same way. Djibouti in the same way. Eritrea in the same way. So for us, exporting power means we are benefiting our brothers on which another country. That is a better way to say. The second one is regional integration. In this globe, the way we think about prosperity, unless we get interconnected with our neighboring countries, it will be really very difficult for us to get what we achieve or what we plan to achieve. Because one or the other way, one of them or one of our brotherly countries, they have something better than what we have, or they do have what we don't have, and we have what they don't have. So this will help us to integrate and to move on. Then the other one is even we decarbonize the region, because hydropower is a green energy source that we are generating from Ethiopia, and when we are exporting to the neighboring country, the entire region is getting benefited from that aspect.
Thank you so much, Dr. Habtamu, for staying with this dialogue.
Thank you, Santai.
Dear viewers, thank you so much for staying with us. See you another time.